always forget what you call your thingy. Not your penis. Your
I have not told you what I call my thing.
Welcome to Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
How's it going, Lowry?
I'm doing all right.
It's so weird to do retakes because it's just like...
I like it.
All right, now bullshit, same stuff over again. Episode 152.
That first time was way better than this already.
It was already better.
Let's admit that. All right.
All right, so we have a special guest today. We have a special episode because we have a special guest. This time we have our first person call in, I guess. Well, you did it once when your shit fell apart.
Let's just keep on saying special. And
he's very special. It's dear to my heart.
Oh.
Just getting right into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
Combo
number 5.
A little bit of mana ramp in my life, a little bit of tutors on my side, a little bit of card draw to my hand, a turn 5 win makes me your man. Cue the trumpets.
That fits so perfect into today's episode because we're talking about combos and infinite combo stuff. But it's Mr. Combo number 5 from CMD Tower. He is our guest, our first official. We've had two guests.
Special guest.
Our special guest, yeah.
Special.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't you tell people where you're from, where they can find you, and all that fun stuff, and how they can harass you. We'll do this at the end too, just to remind people how to.
I like it. Shameless plug time.
Right, exactly.
Hey guys, Mr. Combo number 5 from CMD Tower. We are a Magic content creating channel. We put out podcasts twice a week. We also try to do YouTube at least a couple times a week with Squeeze Pack Cracks and different articles that we put on our website. You can find me on Twitter and basically everywhere, just at Mr. Combo number 5, all spelled out except for the 5. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here. Considering,
we're excited to have you, buddy.
Yeah,
we've been talking for a long time. I think even from last spring is when we were like, all right, and then COVID hit and all shit hit, and we're just like, never mind.
Having you on.
Because we were just like, all right, we got to figure out how to do this with us being remote, and then it was just, it's life, and it sucks sometimes.
I appreciate the invite.
Yeah, well, and Lowry, it's actually Lowry's idea is hey, when Combo comes on, we're doing problems with Combo just to rub
the problem
it in his
with
face.
Combo. Yeah. So that's going to be our main segment today is the problem with Combo, and it's
not even about Magic. We're just talking about Combo right here. We're
going to pull up our psychologist.
We got callers from his past of some stories that we're going to bring up.
How are you? Are you doing all right? I know things got better after the Chiefs won the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
So
lucky bastard.
I mean, honestly, 2020 was a great year for me. As crappy as that sounds, got engaged. Chiefs win a Super Bowl. Lakers win an NBA championship. Chiefs look to possibly repeat. Oh, I know. I mean, hey,
you guys good for you.
You could be a de facto Chiefs fans because we know the Vikings aren't getting there anytime soon.
We're now enemies. I mean, you can. I feel like at least us three can pick good things that happened in 2020.
Yeah.
And being able to focus on those good things is a good thing. You know, Adam's house got completed.
It's not done yet.
I had a baby.
It's
never done.
It's not done.
So, I mean, it's good to focus on things that were good in a general negative year.
Oh yeah.
So
I got a really, really quick story because this is not going to fit in anywhere else here. But so this is the only time to do it. So Cindy got her vaccine shot, the second one.
Nice.
And she had super huge side effects, which is fine. A lot of people are getting side effects with it. She had chills and all that stuff. Long story longer, that night, when she went to bed, she has a heating blanket because after she had kids, or we had kids, it was, but I didn't have them. You know what I'm saying? She lost her body heat.
We know how childbirth works.
Penis, vagina. Anyways, for some reason, after we had kids, she lost her body heat. Like she just gets cold all the time. And so she has a heated blanket when she sleeps on top of another blanket on top of another blanket. Well, that night, because she was having the chills, she like wrapped her feet in it. And we just found out that we almost caught on fire because there are burn marks on our sheets all the way through to the mattress pad was black. Yeah.
Whoa.
And the blanket is all melted because what happened is she put it on high and she wrapped her feet so it coiled on top of each other. And then that just melted it all together and just has a burn hole. That's freaking crazy. We didn't.
Is there like a warning label with those blankets for it? Or
well, and we looked to see if we could contact them. And they are out of business. So that's a good sign.
Weird. Weird that they're out of business.
So that was my only way to fit that in because I was like, well, we're talking about good things with 2020. I'm a good thing that we didn't burn up in our own bed at that night. So.
In the house that you literally just finished.
Right, exactly.
Insurance scam.
So that's how you...
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
So one thing we did want to do before we get into things is Combo. We had a couple get to know you questions just to kind of break the ice a little bit. Lara, do you have the questions on you too, or am I just going off the questions?
You sent me the pictures, so
okay.
I didn't read them yet.
I'll do the first one. Okay, this is the first one.
You got it.
Have you played the Cliff game or Fuck, Marry, Kill?
I know of the game. Yes.
Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
You have three choices here: Liliana, Chandra, or Nissa. Fuck, marry, kill.
Ooh. Oh. I probably would kill Chandra because she's the shittiest planeswalker out there next to Tibble.
Good reasoning. See, and that's what I wanted to was reasoning.
I'd probably fuck Liliana. She seems like she'd be crazy in the sack. Absolutely.
Yeah.
She'd probably even like summon up a skeleton, like tickle my butthole in the middle of it. And then I'd have to marry Nissa. She seems like the down-to-earth, homey.
I think that fits perfect.
And I want to say, isn't Nissa bi or gay?
I don't know.
I think that's
There's
at least implied. No,
what
maybe
is?
it's Chandra that is. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, Chandra, I think was. Well, okay, so even tougher question. Lara, do you want to ask the second one?
All right. So I just got it away. Okay, so fuck, marry, kill, Garruk, Ajani, or Jace.
Oh my god. I'd probably have to. I think I'd have to kill Ajani because I hate cats. With an absolute passion. God, they're just evil. And I think Ajani would be.
That's another one of our questions.
That was another one of the questions. Cats, dogs, or both. Well, that'll be asked.
We should just avoid that question now.
Yeah, that one's no longer being asked.
Yep.
And this is. I think I'm gonna have to marry Garruk because I think if I fucked Garruk, I would definitely be on bottom because that dude would just fucking dominate me. And then,
he's definitely a bear.
Fuck Jace. Jace looks like he'd be submissive. That'd be all right.
I like your reasonings. That was perfect. That is just awesome there.
Definitely works. Definitely works.
Okay, just a couple. These are just fast ones. Favorite movie, favorite band?
Oh, man. Favorite band, it's probably a tie between John Mayer and Mumford & Sons. Humongous Mumford & Sons fan, but
I can dig Mumford.
John Mayer is actually an artist that I've seen live like 8 times.
Nice.
I've seen him in Vegas. I've seen him at Red Rocks. And his guitar solos are just out of this world, in my opinion.
Do you travel to see him?
Yeah.
Okay, you travel. You're like,
hell
he's playing
brother.
here. I want to go there.
That's what you do when you love the band.
Yeah. So what I try to do is
it.
whenever he goes on tour, I try to see him in the home city that I'm living in.
Yeah.
And then I try to travel to at least one other, because that also gets you kind of like a vacation and it gives you a reason to go somewhere. So like I saw him in Vegas with Keith Urban. They did like one of those country crossover type concerts, which was pretty cool. And then Red Rocks is probably my favorite venue in the world. So whenever
I'm so jealous that you were there. That's where I want to see Foo Fighters so bad, but they haven't played there for years. So is it a pretty sweet venue?
Oh my god, it's so cool because just literally overlooking, like, because the way that the auditorium is set up is it kind of slants down.
Yeah.
And then it's just this clear horizon behind the stage. And a lot of times at the night concerts, the moon will kind of like rise up from there, just like directly behind the band. It's so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and actually, it's kind of cool. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. The last time I saw John Mayer there, he ended up taking like a bunch of painkillers because I guess he hurt his back, and so he got high as balls when he was on stage. And he ended up playing Jimi Hendrix Voodoo Child, and I think he soloed for like 11 minutes or something like that.
Jeez.
And it was just the coolest experience I've seen in my life.
That's awesome.
Impressive.
Movie-wise, though,
we should
that's
get that
real
guy
hard.
high more. Sorry, what's your favorite movie?
Movie, I don't know if I could pick just a movie. I think I'm gonna have to pick a franchise, and
I bet I know what you're going to say. Star
it's
Wars?
honest. It's a tie between Star Wars and Marvel. Like
Oh.
Star Wars for me. There are certain moments within Star Wars that I'll remember for the rest of my life, but some of the
Right.
movies are very like meh. Marvel, I feel like there's very few meh movies. Like I would say the second Thor movie was kind of blah.
Yeah.
Iron
Yep,
Man
agreed.
3 was kind of blah. Oh no, Iron Man 2 was kind of blah. Iron Man 3 was decent. And then I'd say not a big fan of Captain Marvel. It seemed a little one-dimensional movie-wise. Danvers didn't really have much, I don't know, personality in the movie, in my opinion. But outside of just those three movies, every other movie is an absolute banger, and I'll watch them repeatedly. So it's really hard to pick between those two, because I would say I probably have more Star Wars moments as favorites that I remember over Marvel. But just I think as a collective thing, Marvel just wins hands down.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you fully. I mean, like, I don't even like rewatching movies very often, but for some reason, like Thor Ragnarok just gets me. I love that.
Yeah, you're the
movie
one that
so
got
much.
me into Thor Ragnarok. I haven't kept up with. I watched a lot of the Marvel, but I was more of an X-Men guy.
Oh, okay.
So I was on that franchise, and then I've watched. I think I've probably watched 60% of the whole lineup of the Marvel movies. I'm probably missing a few in there. Love Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
That was amazing.
Honestly,
My wife
I'm
loves
a
it,
big
and she doesn't
Ant-Man
even
fan.
like.
Ant-Man's like
See,
I
and I
think
haven't watched
very
that.
underrated.
Super fun.
I haven't
Super
watched
fun.
that at all, and that's we just started literally this weekend with my boys. We started Iron Man. I know I was going with the order, and that's actually the third movie in the lineup or whatever. But I was like, he knows Iron Man.
Sure,
let's watch that.
Start with what you know.
Yeah. So he loved that movie. We showed him X-Men 2. They loved that as well. Not X-Men 2, X-Men as well. That'd have been weird to just start with X-Men 2. But I'm excited because I want to go through the order of the is it 35, 33 movies?
Something ridiculous.
It's in the 30s. But yeah, I totally, that's a good answer. I'll give you that, because I would say Lord of the Rings for the series, not The Hobbit, but that would be my...
Yeah.
No, The Hobbit, you made me waste time, money. We pre-ordered tickets, and we went in. I was like, what the fuck was that?
It was so damn cheesy. It was, how did they take a step back, so far back with that?
So
I'm
far
just
back.
Disappointed.
It was impressive.
The one thing I'll say about the Marvel thing, and then because I could talk about this for hours, I still remember.
We're not even doing magic anymore. We're just doing a Marvel podcast.
I remember the exact moment when I watched Infinity War, and Thanos did his snap, and the movie ended, and I was literally in such shock that I didn't move out of my seat for like 20 minutes. Like that was how impactful it was, because like you said, Adam, there's like 30 something movies, so you kind of get invested when you've watched them all and you've watched them over and over. And it's like, I knew Thanos was going to do something bad. I didn't know he was just going to murder everyone. And then like when Spider-Man like telling Tony Stark, I don't feel good, Mr. Stark, and then he disintegrates. Oh my god,
That scene was crazy.
Yep, just absolutely bananas. So. Yeah, I think it's going to be weird.
We should do an after show on the Marvel
just
after this, and then we can...
I'm not kidding, guys. I think in 50 years, it's just going to be Marvel movies. That's all that's going to come out. Marvel news, Marvel TV, Marvel movies.
Some people don't like that idea, but I'm there for it. So...
all right. Do you have any other questions, Larry? Do we want to throw a magic one in there? Do you want to... we know about his cats and dogs answer.
Yeah.
I guess my only magic thing is
cat.
when did you kind of get into magic, Magic, and then specifically Commander? what kind of got you into it?
Yeah, I think those
what
are good
started
ones
you
to
down
end on.
the path of the dark side and buying paper.
Oh my God,
cracked-
yeah.
cracked
Buying paper
cardboard.
like it's drugs.
Yeah.
So I first got introduced to Magic probably back in 2003 to 2004. So it was around freshman, sophomore year of high school. And Squee McGee actually was a friend back then, and then we had a couple other people, and they used to play Magic in the 90s in elementary school instead of Pokemon. And, we just became friends, and they're like, hey, here's this cool card game. And I was like, sweet. I have no idea what the format was. I think it was called Type 2 or something like that. We pretty much just built whatever deck we wanted to build in a 60-card format. And I remember specifically, I was hell-bent on doing some Elf Angel 60-card deck, because in my mind, it's like, oh, Elves ramp, and then there's Elvish Piper. Angels are expensive. I should be able to smack people around, turn 4 or 5. Well, everyone else was playing mono red burn decks, or I think mono blue Morphling decks was a thing. And so I was just getting spanked left and right. We only played for a couple years, and then of course girls got boobies, and so we got distracted. Quit playing Magic.
That does happen.
It just appeared. Oh, they have boobies.
Yeah, boobies. And so I quit playing, and then I got reintroduced probably in 2013. I would say. And it was actually Big Tuck, one of my co-hosts on CMD Tower. He had just gotten back from China. He went over there and did one of those teach English programs for a semester or a year or something like that. And he got introduced to, got reintroduced to Magic because he was looking for a hobby, and then someone had told him about Commander, and so he came back. And I remember I went up to Chicago to visit him. And he's like, hey, I know we haven't played Magic in forever, but there's this cool format. I think you'll really enjoy it. It's called EDH. And, it's all kind of focused around, and at the time it was more battle cruiser types. So it was like, hey, you have this guy in the zone that you kind of build your strategy around, and then you kind of go from there, and it's 100 cards. It's singleton. I remember, playing with one of his decks. It might have been Prosh out of the box. And I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And because I was so hell-bent on Angels and Elves back when I used to play, that's actually how I built my very first Commander deck, which we did on Brews and Builds episode 2, my Karametra deck with Angel Elf Subtribe. So,
nice.
Yeah, I've been playing ever since, and honestly, we only got into content creation because I'd listened to a bunch of our peers, watch videos, and the one thing that I had noticed is that me and Tuck approach deck building a little bit different than everyone else. You hear a lot of times, Josh Lee Quire, Jimmy will be, hashtag suck it, Jimmy. I have to say it or Big Tuck would kill me.
Yeah.
Coming after you.
And a lot of people are like, oh, you have to have 15 pieces of ramp. You have to have 10 card draw spells. You have to have this much interaction, this much removal, this much board wipe. And I just don't like that. I think you should be fluid enough to build a deck however you want, and you can make it work if you put the thought into it. And so that's actually how we kind of started Brews and Builds and kind of categorizing the way we do stuff, because some decks want to be hyper interactive, some decks want to play solitaire, some decks just want to bring chaos, and there's no right or wrong answer. It's just how you kind of approach it.
Fully agree.
Sweet.
Fully agree.
Well, I feel like we got to know combo there.
You got to know me better than my own cast.
All right, so let's get our tags out of the way, because now, hey, Lowry, we're at that magic 15 to 20 minutes of bullshit
Wow,
part.
did we hit
Now
that?
We're at 18 right now, coming up on 19 here.
All right, let's get those tags out of the way then.
All right, so let's do the tags quick. So, all right, you guys can become a patron. $1 or more gets you into the Discord. It allows you to join the Battle Box League. $5 or more gets you Proxy of the Week. You can also support the show by going to YouTube and subscribe there. Check out the videos that we do have. I've been trying to consistently stay up with the damn Proxies of the Week. But yeah, YouTube editing is a pain.
It's a
in the
pain.
ass.
Thank you,
It
Tico.
takes so
Couldn't do it without you.
much longer. Dude, my last video was 17 minutes, and it took me 3 hours of editing. I was like, God damn it, this sucks. All right, so anyways.
He's putting in the sweat and tears. You guys need to go and watch his videos.
Yeah, exactly.
And then tell me what happens so that when he asks me if I liked it or
Hey,
not.
Laurie, did you like that video? Oh,
I loved it.
I'm
Loved
backlogged.
it.
I
Totally.
currently have not watched them yet.
I'm like 2 months behind on our podcast. The last podcast I listened to was
It's
when I was
funny
on
when you-
CMD Tower 3 months ago. So
It's funny when you text me and you're like, that was funny when we did this and that. And I'm like, dude, that was like 2 months ago. I don't even remember what we did there. What the fuck are you talking about? All right. So YouTube, check out Twitter. That's where you can see Proxy of the Week and also see Not Sharing with Adam. But then also, what is your, I always forget what you call your thingy. Not your penis.
I have not told you what I call my thingy. That is a secret to me and me.
And you. So,
what are we talking about? The
What you
Twitter
say
thing?
to it before you get busy? You just never mind.
What are we talking about?
Your curated
hold on down
cards,
there.
right? Is
Yeah,
that what
it's
it is?
just curated MTG. It's just
There you go.
find a random card, throw it out there, and people tell me that it's a bad card.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. You're trying to get people to interact, and it's just, Larry, that's terrible. Why would you play with that when you can play with this? And you're like, all right, well, I guess it worked.
I guess I'll just.
I told
pick
you guys
worse
I'm not
cards and
playing
get
with
more.
this card. I'm just trying to get you guys to discuss something. All
Yeah.
right.
Well,
You can also direct message us there, or you can shoot us an email at Gmail. All right, let's get to the actual episode. So we are going to start our normal way.
should we plug our beers?
Oh yeah. Go for it.
I'm doing Sippin' Pretty again from Odell's, which is always solid. What do you got going on, Combo?
Oh, I'm actually participating in a beer.
Woo!
Which anyone that listens to our channel knows that I never do that. So feel grateful.
We
Yeah.
feel special as
Yeah, we
well.
So I'm drinking a cranberry turbo shandy citrus ale from Hop and Frog in Akron, Ohio.
How's it? How's it taste?
It's actually delicious, and it's 7%, which is
Oh,
Yeah.
a little
There we go.
surprising.
drunk combo.
Whoa.
Did you buy at least two?
No, but I do have a bottle of mead sitting in my wine fridge that I might end up cracking.
Mead-
I
mead
just
is
found
coming
out that
into-
was a real thing. I really didn't think
it's
it was
honey
real.
wine. We discussed that, didn't we?
Yes,
It's
honey
oh, maybe
wine
it was just
is-
with number 2. Yeah.
Dude,
That's good.
oh man, Renfest. Whenever we have Renaissance Fest again, that's I go turkey drumstick, and I have as many meads as I could possibly drink, and still be able to drive home.
Nice. And I'm drinking my good old Northeast. I bought a big pack of it, so I'm still trying to cash that down. All right, so let's jump into. It's time for everyone's favorite game show, Stump the Smith Savant.
Such a good opener.
It is.
I hope we get syndication with that.
Yeah. All right, so everybody, Stump the Smith Savant. It's going to be a little different this week.
Hold on.
each
Did we
of
say
us-
that this is episode 152 this time, or was
Yeah, I
that
think
just
so.
on the
No.
first time? Yeah,
Did we not say
totally missed that.
152?
See,
Episode 152 in the middle of the podcast. Maybe I'll take we all deleted
No,
our stuff, so I can't even edit that
Yep.
back in. All right, so back to this this segment. So what we're going to be doing, each of us is actually going to be doing this time, but we're going to read the flavor text of a card and then give clues when asked for clues. Every clue that is given is minus 5 points. You start out with 100. And any wrong guess, it's a yes or no questions. Every wrong guess is minus 10 points. Tonight is a special episode, so each one of us has our own that we're going to do, and it's
we'll see how
who
that
gets
goes.
See who gets the most points, I guess. We're gonna suck
guess.
combo.
Do
we get
I'm sorry.
prizes?
This is gonna be.
Do I
this
get
will be
to
really,
go
no,
spin
no
the
prize.
wheel?
It's just pride.
Oh man, yeah, we could do that. That would be wonderful. Shots,
what?
dirty shots.
Have it ready. Well, the problem is we're not in person, so you'd have
Yeah,
to have it
that's a
ready
problem.
to do that. All right, so I'll get us started, and then we will make our way down the list here. So, all right, you guys ready?
Yep.
Yes.
Unlike previous conflicts, the war between Urza and Mishra made Dominia itself a casualty of war.
Did you mean Dominaria?
Nope.
Dominia.
I thought that's what it was too. And I was like, is my dyslexia kicking in? I was like, nope, that's not. But it says it's Dominia.
Okay, Dominia.
Unlike
Can you
previous
repeat it?
conflicts, the war between Urza and Mishra made Dominia itself a casualty of war.
Is this a white card?
No.
So I guess I have a question. Are we do me and Lowry in this instance each have our own point total, or are we doing it as a collective team? So
You guys are
I think just
together.
collective.
Okay.
Yeah,
just
you guys are
collective.
together, working together. And you guys can even talk amongst yourselves, discuss amongst yourselves to give an answer if you want to be like, whatever.
Do
I
you
won't
do you
just-
have like an inkling towards something?
Well, no, I just think it'd be funny and kind of cute if Adam actually did Casualty of War as the
Casualty
card.
of War.
But I'm thinking it's probably a blue card with
Is that
Mishra
a
and
guess?
Urza talked about in the flavor text. It's either blue or colorless.
What's your guess?
Well, no,
that
I
your guess?
was conversing with
Are
Lowry.
you talking it through? You talking
Okay,
it through with Lowry.
so
Lowry,
this
you gotta
is
interact back and
definitely
forth.
something about like Dominaria. So it's either from Dominaria, recent set, or like Time Spiral, or the story back. So
So you basically just named like everything in Magic. It's either
the
right
first
now
15
or it's
years
here
or
it's-
one. So the question would be: is this from a set after Time Spiral or before Time Spiral block?
That's not a yes or no question. I can't help you there.
Damn it, you're right. Okay. Form of a question.
Well, what about
is this?
Was this card printed before 2000?
Yes.
Okay, so it's an older card. Is this card colorless?
Yes.
You're right about that.
Okay.
Um,
So it's not going to be an instant or sorcery.
nope.
So that helps.
What if it's an Eldrazi? No, I'm just kidding. That's after. Eldrazi spells. They're colorless. I'll read it while you guys are thinking. Unlike previous conflicts, the war between Urza and Mishra made Dominia itself a casualty of war.
Is this an artifact?
You haven't even gotten a clue yet. Are you asking as an artifact?
Yep.
No.
So it's a land?
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Gaia's Cradle. You saw no. I'm just kidding.
You know what's funny is I almost did that card. I almost did that card, and I was like, no, he's going to get it. The text on that is pretty...
So it's a land from pre 2000.
Would like
It's not Maze of Ith.
I'm trying to think. Is Mishra's Workshop a land?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that'd be it. Is it from that set? What's that set?
I don't.
Is
know,
it
but
is
I'm
it from
scared-
Antiquities?
I'm scared to Google it because I don't want to like cheat.
Yeah.
It is-
It's from Antiquities.
It is in Antiquities, yes.
Mishra's Workshop.
Nope.
Ah,
Can I give you a hint? Because this might give it away for you guys.
sure.
Just the first hint. And it's only 5 points. All these wrong guesses is 10. Just saying. You get hints, and it's only
We're not
minus
doing
5.
well. We're not. Okay, give us a hint.
Card features destruction.
Pre 2000.
It's a land.
It's a land.
That features
Well, it's
destruction.
Antiquities. It's a land.
that
that features destruction.
Strip mine.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Nice.
Copy. All right. Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
God damn it. I have 5 other clues and none of those. I got to stop.
That's fine.
writing.
We worked our way through there. Combo, you got it. See?
Yeah,
That's-
good
it's
job.
not as hard as I make it sound. It's,
Well, I don't think I would have been able to guess the antiquities and the. I guess I would have got to the land piece, but the antiquities thing would have thrown me for a loop.
All right, Combo, you are on deck. Or not on deck. You're up to bat. Sorry,
All right.
you're up to bat. Why don't you give us your?
So here is the flavor text. All the coins in Ravnica can't save his soul now. Narbulg Nine Fingers.
All the
Smothering Tithe.
coins in Ravnica?
What'd you say, Lowry?
It's not Smothering Tithe, right?
Is that a guess?
Yeah, that's a guess.
No.
Yeah, that's immediately what I was thinking was smothering, but I was like,
You got to get the obvious out of the way.
So I'll
I just didn't
repeat it again. All the coins in Ravnica can't save his soul now. Narbulg Nine Fingers.
Is this a Orzhov card?
No.
shit.
So it might be. Who's the character that said this?
Narbulg Nine Fingers.
That
I've
sounds
never
like
even
a
heard of.
Gruul. No, I haven't either. But it's a Gruul-ish name. So is it a red-green card?
It is.
Okay.
Oh, good job, Lowry. I'm just gonna sit back and watch because I'm not gonna be able to guess anything.
All the coins in Ravnica won't be able to save
His soul now.
his soul now. So, male.
Red,
They're
green.
talking about, is this card... Gotta narrow it down. So we have 3 Ravnicas. Is this in the first or second or third block? Nope, that's not how this works.
Which one do you have a feel for more, Lowry?
And I can give you
I'm
another
sorry, I'm
cool,
not a
clue
help
if
here.
you would like it.
let's
get a clue.
yeah.
All right. The card features since you guessed red green, it features a Gruul watermark under the text.
That doesn't help at all.
That should have helped you narrow down to the set, though. They don't always do that.
The watermark. Wouldn't that be one of the newer ones then, Lowry? This is mine is never going to be the question. Mine's going to go through you, Lowry, and then you are going to approve if that's what
We're
we're
going to have to
asking.
filter it. Okay, so does original Ravnica block have the watermarks? I think they were the first one that had it, but I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So I think all 3 of them have it, but they definitely had it in Return to Ravnica. So here's my guess from the flavor text is somebody's in dire trouble, so they're about to just get squashed. So I want to say like Borborgamos Enraged.
Nope.
Okay.
Should we
Is
get
it a
another
creature?
clue, Lowry?
It is not.
It is not a creature. All the Clan Defiance. I like
We're
that
getting a
one,
lot
but
of
nobody
minus points
picked that
here,
one.
Lowry. I think we're going to go negative here pretty soon.
Let's
if you
get
would-
another hint.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, the artwork features 2 characters. One of them looks like a Orzhov wizard. The other one is a brute holding a club.
Shoot. Oh, we could spend probably the next 10 minutes with me thinking like this. I
if you would
totally
like
know.
to tap out. Or if you'd like another clue, I have one more clue I can give. That would actually be helpful.
So, did we establish it's a creature, Lowry?
No.
No, it's not.
It's not.
It's not
It's
a creature.
not a creature. No, this is an instant or a sorcery. It's
You
red
could
green.
ask that question because if it's
not-
right, you don't lose any points.
Is it Gruul is probably more sorcery based. So is it a sorcery?
Nope.
Alright. Is it an instant?
Yep.
Okay. Golly. It's the only time I ever use the word golly is during this segment. All week.
I don't even like that I'm involved in this because I can't help at all. It's just I'm just sitting here looking at my strip mine that I just talked about, and I have no idea.
Instant. Okay.
I
let's
want to
start-
do what you were saying, Combo, and go. All right, what am I going to look here? All right, type it all in.
there. Let's get that last hint.
All right. Its CMC is 2 total converted mana cost,
Yeah.
and its color is a hybrid Gruul.
Hybrid Gruul.
2 CMC total. Instant.
What?
It's not a
What
guild
is-
mage. I mean, because it's clearly an instant.
What is the Lowry? What's the card? It's used in. It's to give you more mana. Oh, shit,
That's from
what is
Shadowmoor.
it? Oh, it is Shadowmoor, isn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah, Manamorphous or Manamorphs.
yeah,
something like that.
Metamorphos.
There we go.
Yeah, that's where I was going with
the
it.
thing that people with lisps can't say.
Yeah.
All right, read the flavor again.
All right. All the coins in Ravnica can't save his soul now. Narbolg Nine Fingers. And it's going to be funny because once I tell you what the card is, you're going to feel real dumb.
Oh, that all the time. Feels all the time.
Can I give a hint really quick, Combo? Because I could maybe help with what you're talking about, what you mentioned to me
Oh,
before.
sure.
It's from something that you did on the cast. I didn't go back and listen to any of the cast. It's something you guys talked about on the cast when you were on CMD Tower. Does that help at all? Because I wasn't going to go back. I was like, I could go back and start listening to yours to see if I can get a hint. But that's the only thing that Combo mentioned to me.
Okay, well,
It's probably a card that you've talked about.
yeah. I mean, both decks that I've talked about on your show involved red-green. But I
Did
would
you talk-
assume that it's a fight. So I went with Rianne, the first one last December, and then this last week was Naeth. I was very sorcery speed like in Rianne, so I want to say that it's a fight card from Naeth. More than likely. Well, once you gave me the art, I was like, I should know this. It's totally in my head.
What if he gave the
card name.
initials?
Shit. Give
Yeah,
me
the card
give me the set.
All right. Gate Crash.
It is Gate Crash. That's stupid. I hate that. Pit Fight?
Yep.
There we go. Jeez.
How negative did we go there? That had to be way negative there. That was a lot of. I shouldn't say we. That was all Lowry. I'm not a part of that.
Yeah, I thought it would be cute to
All right.
pick a card that you had talked to, or we had at least talked about with a deck that had been on Brews and Builds.
Definitely cute. Definitely cute.
All right, Larry, get to yours because we're taking a long time with ours.
It's all right.
We suck at guessing. We suck again.
Okay. So, it is, quote, to fill your mind with knowledge, we must start by emptying it. Baron, Master Wizard.
Fill your mind with knowledge. Baron.
To fill
I feel
your
like I've
mind
seen
with
this,
knowledge,
actually.
we must start by emptying it. Baron, Master Wizard.
Is this a
This feels-
blue card?
It is a blue card.
Okay.
Should we ask if it's a creature?
Well, it being in blue, and it talks about you have to empty it, it makes me feel like it's some sort of draw discard effect, or it's not Windfall, so I know it's not that, I don't think. So it's blue.
The sad part is, I feel like I've read this while I've been trying to decide to do this exact thing. I swear I've read this card, and I didn't pick it. Oh man, it's even worse.
It is blue. All right,
is
so
blue.
to
This
fill
game sucks.
your mind with knowledge, we must start by emptying it. Baron, Master Wizard.
Is this a sorcery?
It is a sorcery.
All right. Blue sorcery. Well, that just narrowed it down to about 100,000 cards.
Yeah. I want to say things, but I feel like it's just gonna put us in the wrong spot. So I don't.
Blue sorcery.
Do we want to say that like if it's been printed in the last couple years or 2 years? Because then you can kind of narrow it down to if it caught a reprint.
Yeah. Has it been printed or reprinted since 2015?
Yes.
Has it been printed this or 2020?
Yes.
Oh.
Okay. Is it the one where you Why am I can't. That's why I'm not good at this game, because I can't think of the card names. I can just think of what they do. What is the one that is used in Modern that draws cards? Thought something.
Was it printed
Does it have
in Double Masters?
No.
Okay.
I think it's Commander Legends is what I'm getting. Was it printed in Commander Legends?
No.
Oh shit! Okay.
Okay, so
never
that
mind.
takes out 2 of those sets. So it's
Yeah.
either Lowry's being real tricksy and it's actually mystery boosters, or
Yeah.
No. I can give you that one. Mystery
Okay.
boosters suck.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to track on that one.
All right.
Well, let's get at least a clue just to see where you go with the clues.
All right.
This one, you guys are actually quite close, and so I feel like I'll give you the hardest one probably. It has 8 total printings.
8 total printings.
Does that doesn't include like foil? You're talking about like 8 sets,
Correct.
right?
8 different sets.
8 different sets. It wasn't in Double Masters or Commander Legends or Mystery Boosters.
But it was printed this year.
So that
what do we
leaves
got
like
this
standard
year?
sets or Jumpstart.
Right.
But that's pretty much a standard set.
And what did we just? It's a sorcery figured out, right? Wasn't
Blue
it
Sorcery.
blue sorcery? Trying to think what was in the core set. Was Ponder in that? Ponder is a instant though, isn't it?
To fill your mind with
No,
knowledge,
Ponder I think is a sorcery.
we must start by emptying it. Baron Master Wizard.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be Brainstorm because that was in
Double
Double
Masters, yep.
Masters. I know Ponder keeps getting its reprint. Is it Ponder that I'm thinking of? It's
You're thinking Preordain, probably.
that's what it is.
but
Is
that was in
going-
Commander Legends.
8 printing, so you're probably looking at that core set. Maybe. What do we have for our stuff? We have it was printed in 2020, so you have Zendikar Rising. You have the
Ikoria.
core set. And Ikoria. I always forget about that. What was our
Theros Beyond Death.
spring? Yeah, there we go. And it's been an 8?
Oh, okay. Hold on. Lowry, was this printed in Commander Collection Green?
No, this is a blue card, man.
Oh, that's right. Duh. Damn it.
Yeah, I was like, what, are you
was
trying
like,
to get it
wait,
like
is it getting real tricky?
Second level, you guys. Just because they printed Soul Ring and Commanders in Command Tower.
I'm honestly drawing
Oh,
blanks because
shit.
I didn't play a lot of buy a lot of the standard sets this year.
I'll give you
Is-
the free hint here. Commander 2020.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
damn! I was
Just because you're dancing around it, and that was when all the chaos happened. So
Shit, 8 printings in Commander 2020.
I'm gonna feel real dumb. Is it Windfall?
it is Windfall.
Oh
Yeah,
my!
you said it so much. You said it so
I had to I was trying not to smile so hard when you said it. I was like, straight.
I can't believe you said that. So you're like, this could be Windfall. It's not Windfall. Man, you had it off of that would have been 100% right there.
Oh yeah, I
it.
would have. See, you're definitely good at this. You could do this. Anybody?
All
can do this. Good
right.
job, though.
So
Good job.
that was pretty good. That was I like that. I don't like being on the other end of it. I'll tell you that because I can't. Although breaking it down there, once we started kind of figuring out, that was a little more fun. I like that. All right. So let's get into the actual episode. I played that really low. All right. So what we wanted to talk about is basically combos. I guess more specifically, how I was thinking about it was more about infinite combos. You can have combos, but the infinite part is the part that gets me a little bit sometimes. And I guess what is your guys' take on combos? Larry, I know how our play group does it, but it's kind of interesting. I want to hear how your play group tends to deal with combos, or how you guys typically run with that.
So the play group that I traditionally play with, it's a little split on the combo infinite piece. There's some in the camp like Big Tuck that absolutely despise easy infinite combos, but he likes Rube Goldberg machines, 5, 6, 7,
Right.
8 cards to kind of get there. He finds those more interesting. And then there's other sides like me to where I don't care. You can run infinite combos all day long. You just need to actually have something to do with it. And that's really kind of where I sit, that sometimes people will go infinite at a table. And it's like, okay, well, do you win? And they're like, well, I don't really know. I'm just kind of doing the thing and I'll figure it out. And that's
through
where
cards.
I have the issue with infinite combos, because if you don't actually have a way to win, then you need to not play an infinite combo, or some very oppressive combo like a Mycosynth Lattice Nev's Disc, just to blow everything up just for the hell of it.
For the shits and giggles of it.
Yeah, that's what gets me kind of rubbed the wrong way. Like, I don't mind, people can land destruction all day long. Just actually have something that you're going to do. Like, I do that in my Kalia deck because I don't need lands. I do this. I do land destruction in Neheb because he generates mana for free for me. So
Yes.
I won't do it until there's an actual way to win. But it's the people that just kind of go in like the Unabomber, like just crazy, and they don't know. It's kind of like the Chaos players, and you just gave them a nuclear missile that they don't know what to
Right.
do with it.
Yeah, so I totally agree with that. I guess my hardest thing with combos is the work that a game goes, like more of the infinite combos I guess is where my direction goes with it, is you have everybody working this hour, 2 hour, and I know your kind of opinion is when those longer games, you hate those really long games and that's the thing is I love those as long as somebody's not knocked out. I hate the ones
What's the length
where,
of game that you guys like?
For me, the shortest that I'm okay with is probably 45 minutes to an hour. The longest I'm okay with is about that hour 30, hour 45. Honestly, when it gets past that, I'm just like,
you would hate
someone
playing with us.
Someone effing kill someone. Because in my opinion, when games go that long, it's just because people are dilly-daddling and they're not swinging in when they could swing in. It's like, well, I'll sit tight. Well, I'll just hang back a little bit and progress the game, because I have 39 EDH decks. I would like to play more than one today.
Yes.
right? Gotcha.
I agree.
So, and that's another thing that I kind of had in this as well, is I think tutors have a thing to deal with it too, is that being able to tutor your combos up easier and all that. It sucks when you have that 2 hour. See, and that's the thing is we go 2 hours is an average game. 3 hours, when it starts getting beyond 3, that's when it's like
3
all right,
hours.
this is
Whoa.
Yeah, three is too long for me. So like for me, my sweet spot's 2 hours.
normally-
Anything longer than
it's
that,
about
I'm like,
2.
okay, let's. People aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
But the hard part is when you have that happen early, where people are building, starting to get their stuff, and then all someone's like, well, I just won. And you're like, what the fuck? I was just working all this way and I have this plan, and then it's just gone. But I think that's also a positive, is kind of what you said, Combo, is that it can end a game. And it kills, if you do it right and it's an infinite combo, it kills everybody all at once.
Yep.
It kind of gets anticlimactic, is my feeling of it, because then it's just all of a sudden it's over. Whereas other, like you were talking about with multiple pieces, it's like an engine where you're trying to get this thing to fit together and then all of a sudden it explodes. That's different too.
That's
I don't know.
more
It's-
your play style, Adam, though, is the pieces, the engine going together, and then all of a sudden it's just not, the other people can't overcome it, essentially. Like, it's just going
Normally
to
when
happen.
I win, Lowry, is when I'm about to lose and I have to try to figure out a way to not
Yeah.
die.
And-
Like, I know the player's about to kill me, because that's what Trombley always
Yeah.
is like, you're about to die and somehow you pull off the win, because it's forcing me to figure out I have to try to kill everybody.
And it just
right
tells
now.
me at that 3 hour game, you could have ended it at 2 hours. So, and
I don't know what you're talking about.
and I agree with you on a lot of the points that everybody's saying here. Totally agree. Like, ends the games. That is back and forth. Like, there are ebbs and flows within a game that really have those moments that are really fun for a game, and that's really what I strive for, is to create situations. I'm more of that chaos player that you guys are kind of talking about, but I'm not going in trying to create chaos. I try and put people in situations where I enjoy to see them squirm.
Yeah, your deck typically has a thing that you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And your win, and both of us kind of doing that lately, is to have your thing happen. You don't have to win the game. It's more of for your chaos to actually take place. So that's a win in your book, that as long as that happens.
Yeah,
and
there's that too, yeah.
I guess what it comes down to is it really is your play groups. You know, with our play group, we've gotten to the point, because we don't play with tutors, to make the game more, you know, random and not consistent. You know, it's more of building the deck so that each card is just that important. You're not having to search for that one thing to make you go off. But if your play group doesn't play with it, and then you have somebody that does, I can give that as an example, because playing when people like Trombley's played with us on Cockatrice with people from the Discord who play with infinite combos and stuff, he had it happen, or we had it happen to us, and he texted me, he's like, well, that sucked. I hate fucking infinite combos. I was like, dude, that's what happens. You have different groups, and that's, I think that's kind of the thing, is really starting off from the top is it doesn't matter if it's bad or good. Like, it's just what your group agrees on. Because if everybody is on the same page, then it's fine. If everybody's playing combos,
Sure.
And I guess how many combos do you typically play in a deck?
So that's the thing. I actually don't run infinite combos in every deck, because I don't try, when I deck build, I definitely deck build, as we kind of talk about, very top down. I look at the commander, what is he trying to do, or they trying to do, and then I build all around that. I know some people are like, oh, I'm going to build a Gruul deck. It doesn't even matter who the commander is. I'm just going to, here's the engine that I'm trying to do. You know, Kiki Jiki Zealous Conscripts, that's in there, and I'm just trying to get to it as quick as possible. I don't do that. So, you know, I would say out of my 39-ish, 40 decks, I probably have 6 infinite combos in decks among all of them.
6 total out of all those decks?
6 total. And, you know, and a lot of times, like, I think for the decks, the number's up because I run Grim Monolith Power Artifact. That's just like my baby. I love generating the infinite colorless and then, you know, headshotting people, Tormenta Hellfire, stuff like that. And then, obviously, my CEDH deck, I do run a Nexus of Fate loop in there, which is funny, because Nexus of Fate actually, you could consider it an infinite combo because you have no cards in your library, you just take infinite turns, but it's not. It's like a weird, but it's not really an infinite combo. Right. But yeah, if there's one that kind of happens or it fits the theme, then I'm all about it. But I mean, I've even cut infinite combos. I used to have the Kiki Jiki Zealous Conscripts in my Ruach Thar deck just to have something to do. When we did the deck tech on it on Bruiser Builds, I was like, you know what? I actually don't need that. I could probably put the Kiki Jiki in my Brutaclad 7 Dwarf all permanent deck, because that is more hilarious and it can actually do something there. And the Zealous Conscripts, I don't even need it in the deck. Let me just take it out and find a couple cards to put in.
And I think that's a really good point that you're making there too, is like infinite combos, they are finishers. How different are they from Craterhoof Behemoth coming down, ending the game, or Triumph of the Hordes?
Sure.
Or that, like, they are very similar, but at the same time, like, as I have kind of preached here, is just like, don't put Craterhoof in all of your green decks, even though we're like, hey, this is a good card, should go
You're
in
an
everyone.
Asshole. That's blasphemy, Larry.
It's seriously.
Stop it. Stop talking. No.
It's fun to have different interactions within different decks, and that's how more of what I do. Even though it's really good in a deck, whatever finisher you so choose, infinite combo. If you are looking for different experiences and you're building different decks, that's what you should be doing, is having different finishers. I think that's what gives the decks different feels when you're building them. And so if you're doing the infinite combo of Power Artifact, Grim Monolith, and I would consider that with a finisher of, you know, Hailfire.
Yeah.
If you did that every game, just different decks, like, you're not playing different decks. Why not just play the one?
Yeah.
And so having different finishers is really important, be it combo or not. I think that's a big part of realizing combos, because a lot of CEDH decks that I've kind of looked at lists of have, like, every one of them has very similar combos going on. And they're playing for different reasons, which is more than fine too. But that's, to me, there is that difference between if you are just trying to win and are you just trying to have a different gameplay. And I think those two things are important to understand what you want in your games.
Mm-hmm. Well, and so one quick thing, we just got done actually doing our CEDH month recordings for January for Brews and Builds, and the thing that you'll actually see in CEDH is they run a single infinite combo, and basically the deck's only goal is to get and do that one thing. Now, there may be, like, we had the CEDH cast on, so that episode will be coming out in the time continuum. I think it's last Friday of January. And his whole goal is to get Dockside Extortionist on the battlefield and then find different ways to loop him out of the graveyard to generate tons of mana and get treasures. And so he has the one Dockside, but then he has like 8 or 9 different redundant ways to do that one thing. And so that's kind of where CEDH is a little bit different, to where it is geared towards that one path to victory. And kind of if that path gets disrupted, you're maybe you can win off of combat damage, maybe.
Pretty much.
And you need that resiliency and the way to protect it. And so that's what are you trying to do, which is, and I know for me and Adam, we do a little bit more broad spectrum. Like this is what we want the deck to be able to do. And it has to be a fuller deck. So technically, for me now, how I've changed my deck building from, say, 6 years ago, I do run a lot less removal than I used to.
Oh, okay.
Just so that I have more theme in there, to have more of like a consistency.
More of what your deck is working.
Yeah, more of a consistency of how the deck feels. And so for me personally, I want the deck to feel different. And some decks have more, like Neath, when we talked about that had 20 pieces of removal in it.
Sure.
And that was pretty high for what I generally do. And so, like what you were talking about before, when you're building decks, like you feel like it should have that ebb and flow of what is the theme and what's going on with your deck. I think that is really important. And I totally agree with you. Like if when you were saying like infinite combo in theme, totally makes sense.
Yeah. So, Adam, I'm actually kind of curious your thought on this. So, obviously, people have issues with infinite combos. You talked about Trombley, that was just like, fuck this infinite combo, I hate it. I'm curious your thought on this, because technically infinite combos, they don't just happen out of nowhere. There has to be some sort of setup that actually enables the combo, and that usually either they have to cast multiple spells on that turn,
right,
or it's, been set up over the progress of the game, unlike a Craterhoof or a Triumph that literally can just win you the game out of nowhere with very little setup. So why do you think people are okay with Triumph and Craterhoof, or like an End-Raze Forerunners, versus, oh, okay, that's fine, you win the game, but an infinite combo, people get kind of like butthurt about it?
So, and that's interesting you brought that up, because I was going to bring up the Aetherflux Reservoir is kind of an infinite combo. I have one of my decks does that, but it's not infinite. It's only limited to how many cards I have in my deck to be able to kill somebody. So I don't know. I guess the difference is with the infinite combo, it's unlimited. They're dead. There's nothing you can do. With Craterhoof, there is a way that you can beat it.
Sure.
It's maybe you have enough life, or somebody can board wipe, or you can remove something. There are ways to interact with it. Normally, if a infinite typically happens, and we don't see it that often anymore because our play group doesn't do it, so that's a thing that we don't see as often. But when an infinite goes off, there's just nothing you can do, and it's just over. And I think that it's with Craterhoof, maybe you're seeing it happen, and everybody's like, oh, if he pulls Craterhoof, or if this, we're all going to die. We need to stop this. Whereas an infinite just comes out of nowhere sometimes. Only the player that's doing it knows that I have my pieces, unless they're playing other people that know that deck, and they're like, hey, if that person gets that one last piece, we're dead, So that's where I kind of started with, it depends on your play group. If everybody knows everybody's playing infinite, or you're playing with infinite here and there, you know when the pieces are coming together. You know what that deck does. And I guess that's the difference with the play group. How we do things is we typically don't play counter spells as much. It's not that saying it's illegal. Larry and I personally don't.
Yeah.
Our play group does, to fuck with us because they're, they're dickheads. But then we don't do the tutors. We don't do the infinite combo stuff. But it's totally, if all that's in play, I can see it being totally fine. Because then if there's a counter spell in there, they can stop that combo instantly. But because I don't play with it, kind of screws me over. But I don't know. I don't think they're bad. It's dependent on your play group.
Yeah.
And then with our play group, we have all decided to go the other route with it. And honestly, the thing that I like the most with our play group is that tutors are gone. Like tutors, not completely 100%, but it makes the game so random in what's going to happen. Whereas before, I remember my decks had at least 7 to 10 tutors where it was like, this is what this deck is doing, and I'm going to get those cards kind of like a combo.
Sure.
I would get my pieces and all that. I think combos are fine if you have multiple pieces to make them go off. I don't like the 2 to 3 is the borderline. I think when you get to 3+, it's fine, because there's a way to interrupt that, and everybody has a removal. They should have removal, and there's a way to interact with that. So they don't bother me as much as they used to because I do play more removal kind of after Lowry. Actually, Lowry's kind of the one that's influenced me that way, whereas more I was always building my decks and I'm like, this is how my deck is. I don't care about other people's shit. I'm doing my shit.
them.
But now when you have enough people playing removal, they should be able to interact with to stop the infinite combo. So I'm not as against them as I was. I still don't play them. There are some that accidentally find their way in a deck.
Sure.
Like my Niv Mizzet deck does that, where I have 2 of them that I didn't even realize until it was happening. I was like, oh, you guys are dead. Because it was with the drawing and doing damage.
Sure.
Every time you do damage, he draws, and then it was just an infinite loop. But yeah, so I get, that's a good point with Craterhoof Behemoth, back to what you were saying. And I just think people know that if it's a green deck, Craterhoof's coming, or if they're a blue deck and they have 7 mana on tap.
All right, Cyclonic Rift.
That's a Cyclonic Rift, unless it's Lowry, because then Lowry doesn't play
I figured that
Cyclonic
out.
Rift.
No, I don't. I have it in one
You
deck.
did recently, though.
I have it in one deck.
You did? Yeah, you just had it recently.
So, and I think one thing that I do personally as well is I try and realize what cards are easy enablers of infinite combos. So like Intruder Alarm is a big infinite
Plague.
creature that just
Plague.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I almost don't even play with it, even though I'm like, oh, I would love to do it in, like, one of my favorite cards is Opposition, which is tap a creature, tap an opponent's creature, or land, or artifact. Love that card. For some reason, it's not very good. But Intruder Alarm makes the deck, it makes it good and bad at the same time. But when it goes in the deck, and I'm like, you know what? This actually just goes infinite with this random-ass card. I'll take out Intruder Alarm.
Yeah.
Just because I know it's a red flag card. People should know what red flag cards there are.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also important, like what we were talking when you guys were saying playgroup matters. If they don't recognize red flag cards, that is more of creating like a feel bad moment. It's like a threat assessment and not understanding like this works with this. If that happens, game is over.
But think about this though. How are you ever supposed to learn how to pick up on those key indicators if you literally never see it? Because then you're going to go to some GP and just get pub stomped because someone ran it and your playgroup doesn't run it and you were never exposed to it and you didn't go out there and research infinite combos. I'm always fine with an infinite combo when I get to learn a new one, and now I can pick up on those threat indicators in future games.
The key there, combo, is don't go to GP.
Yes,
I'm
that's
just
what I was going to say. Become insular and don't reach out. That's
keep
why
your
it
play group. Don't go anywhere else.
It's definitely why it took a year and a half to get you on the show with us. That's
Yeah.
talking with other people's hard.
Yeah, this is scary.
I need an adult.
So I think a lot of these things that we've already touched on. I'm trying to like look at my notes.
Go over your notes. One thing I did put in here is it also depends on your infinite combo. And it kind of goes back to combos. It's weird calling this infinite combo and then your combo.
He's Mr. Combo to you.
But what you originally said, your very first point is key with this, is you have combos that just don't go anywhere. And those are just, like the infinite life. It's like, okay, you have infinite life. We're not giving up the game because you can still be killed by commander damage. Infinite mana, if you get the infinite mana, but you don't have anything to do with it, like whatever.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect the game, right?
Right.
But you just know, and so everybody focuses on that. So I don't really have a problem with that.
The worst one of all is infinite remove everybody's board, but then you don't have a way to kill somebody.
Let's not.
That is by far the worst one.
That's one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Oh, you guys can't do anything? Well, I only have a 1/1, so I'm going to take about 80 turns to kill all you guys because you can't do anything.
I don't
only
lock
have this
people
little
out.
creature.
I don't lock people out. So, okay. So the main reason why I wanted to do this segment too is because it's a pet peeve of mine. To me, there is a big difference between combo and synergy.
Yeah.
And I understand that there's the generalization that there's only 3 different archetypes of decks. It's combo, control, aggro. And really deck building is much more nuanced than that. And anybody should know that, there's tempo, mid-range, all that kind of stuff. And to me, synergies are what I build off of, and I very much don't like to call it combo.
Yep.
And so it's like this card works with this card, but I'm not just going to win the game off of it. And so I do think there is a distinct difference between using the word synergy. Like I wouldn't sit down and say tribal decks, which are highly synergized generally, is a combo deck.
No.
I wouldn't consider Cradle of Behemoth a combo, even though it's a game finisher, but you can technically call it a combo because it combos with other creatures on the board.
Yeah,
but really they synergize together. Yeah. And really all I'm asking PSA wise is people start using synergy more. That's all I want. That's really
It's funny that you said it that way, Larry, because that's up until on my notes, that's the last thing I wrote down was difference between combos of cards that work well together and infinite combos. That's when infinite jumped in, and I was like, actually, what we're talking about here is infinite, not necessarily combos, because what you're saying with the synergy, your decks should synergize, which is kind of a combo. It's they're working together to do a thing. It's the infinite part where it gets a little hairy, and it depends on if that's the only thing your deck does. Then I don't know if that's if that's
I remember an old article from LSV on Channel Fireball back when I cared about that stuff, and he was talking about archetypes and going, if we have just combo, control, and aggro as our archetypes to pick from, what is a reanimator deck?
Yeah,
these two, reanimating big creatures is like a combo deck. That's how it's. But you're aggroing out the opponent with bigger creatures and gaining that advantage by mana. And then you start going, well, really, there are nuances, and really just synergy of reanimating a big creature that's not combo to me, right? And so I think understanding that there is a difference is pretty important when you're sitting down and talking about deck power levels.
Sure.
And so if you're like, I'm running combos, and somebody's like, no, you're a reanimator deck, you're not running combos.
Yeah.
and then the expectations are different. I think part of all I'm saying is part of the wordage that you're using sets expectations.
Oh, it's absolutely on your verbiage that you use. Like we've been talking about for probably 6 to 8 months. There's the big, people get kind of upset, and I'm one of them, around like proxies. People that proxy cards that they do not own, will never own, and do anything like that.
Yeah.
And so,
we frown upon that.
yeah. And so when I hear the word proxy, that's what I think of. Oh, you don't even own the card. You're just throwing it in the deck. Versus playtest cards, which, is something that I do. I shouldn't have to buy... Even though I don't put Tundra in every single deck that's blue-white, I shouldn't have to buy a Tundra for a deck if I want to put one in there, because I already own like 3 or 4. So I've started saying playtest instead, because playtest doesn't get people as tilted as much as proxy does. And I think that's kind of to
fucking
your point.
I can't change everything with the proxies now and change it to playtest. Playtest of the week? You fucker. I can't do that.
But I think...
But it makes sense.
Yeah, to your point with the synergy and combo thing, if people just used... I don't want to say better terminology, but I guess more defining terminology, it would put people less on tilt. Because I guarantee you, if people started saying, oh, my deck has a lot of synergy with the graveyard, or I have synergy with my slivers, versus, oh, I have combos, you would probably only hear about quote-unquote combos or infinite combos in probably the CEDH circles or the very tuned commander decks, just because it's not that frequent unless you just happenstance find one. Like I've had a couple decks where I get like 6 cards out and I'm like, oh, I go infinite because I do this into this into this into this, and I had no idea.
Right.
Yeah,
that happens all the time.
And again, I agree with Big Tuck on his assessment of like, if it's a Rube Goldberg machine, like, you worked hard at that. That's fine. Like, it's not like you've been building. Any one of those
pieces removed does not give you that. If you have so many pieces, they're very vulnerable to that combo not happening.
And I would also say, like, having cards in there that just don't synergize with the rest of the deck, like, then it's just kind of a dead card unless you're comboing with 4, 5, 6 cards, which is highly unlikely, and I wouldn't suggest doing that either. So, like, if they all work in the deck too, again, going back to theme of your deck, that makes sense. So
I guess what the key is the infinite combo, and like you were saying, synergize. Like there's a lot of synergies where it doesn't necessarily go infinite. I don't know.
Yeah, well, like a good example for you, Adam, is Academy Ruins and Mindslaver. So Mindslaver, if you guys aren't familiar, it's an artifact that you can pay for, tap, sack, take control of target player, and then the Ruins let you put the Mindslaver back on top of the library. It's not infinite because it's not like you win the game on the spot, but I would call that synergy. Because, it goes to the graveyard and I can get it back and I can basically control this one player for the rest of the game. But it could also be looked at as infinite because, in theory, that player will never get another turn. So that's
probably going to stab you
on the synergy versus combo. Unlike Archangel of Thune and Spike Feeder, that literally is just an infinite. Your creatures get humongous and you gain infinite life combo. So that is, I would consider an infinite combo. But Mindslaver Academy Ruins is like, well, is it infinite or is it synergy? It's kind of like Nexus of Fate. Which one do you really kind of put it in?
Yeah. I think situational. You can, like, Mindslaver is, I would say, an infinite combo when you are 1v1.
Yes.
If you have 4 players out, then
you have to choose that player. You can't just pick on the one player. You can be a really big dick, but you can pick on the one person and really lock them out of the game. But you still have the other players to deal with.
So I think that's situational. Nexus of Fate is, if you're not winning the game, that's kind of a draw, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you draw them out though.
No, because they're not taking turns.
Because they never take their turn. You're always going.
And so if all you're doing is just recasting that to make sure,
if you can't finish it, then it's just
a draw.
Ugh.
So that's not fun either. So
I remember when I was playing Arena and I came across Nexus of Fate decks, and I just let it go. Like I was like, fine, you're a fucker. I'm just gonna play you out and I'll do something else. And I didn't do Salt Rope. I just made it so that they had to keep doing it until they got to the end. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to watch this episode of whatever, fuckers.
Wow.
That's pretty funny.
Not bitter at all. Not bitter at all. All right. Is there anything else? I guess my keys is I had keys at the end of it, just saying really it depends on your play group. Just talk it over with your play group. If everybody's on the same page, you're fine. And then if you get into new play groups or new people you don't know, just make sure you talk about it ahead of time. If you're like, hey, do you guys play infinite combos? I guess is where I would go with the thing that
sit down and
gets
point it
hairy.
out if you're in a new play group. And just be like, so they can understand it, see it coming, and don't create the feel bads.
But Lowry, to that point though, it's not like every time you sit at a table you give away your entire strategy of your deck. And if your deck's trying to do that, do you really want to sit down and say, hey guys, by the way, I run Nexus of Fate Infinite Combo Loop in here. I don't know if I want to share that information, because then all three players are just going to try to kill me as quick as possible. And I know you've been the arch enemy in your play group at times, and it's not fun, even if you're not doing an infinite combo deck, to have 3v1 and have
Absolutely
to do that.
what I go for. It is such a fun feeling when everybody hates you. It's
and I think the last thing I would honestly say about the combo thing is I think us as a community need to stop getting pissy and saying 2-card infinite combos, because I actually did some research. There actually isn't a 2-card infinite combo that just actually wins the game just with 2 cards. It always takes a third card to actually win the game.
To get it.
Like I talked about the Archangel of Thune Spike Feeder. I mean, yes, in theory, that could be a 2-card infinite combo if you had enough creatures, but I'm still saying you have to have other creatures. You still have to have other stuff. And so, you know, like I know Tut gets really pissed at me because in my Aloro deck, I run the 2 black enchantment, Sanguine, and other bond. Just, you know, to infinitely drain everyone out. But it's like, but I still, even though Aloro's a lazy asshole and sits in the command zone and never comes out and plays, that still takes 3 cards to get there, and it's like an 11 mana investment, 12 mana investment. I have a big thing to where, hey, if you're going to pay 10 mana, 8 or 11, 12, 13 mana, have at it, man. That's your win. I'm not going to get upset about that. That's a massive investment of resources, and there isn't really any combos out there that you could just get with 3 mana or 4 mana. So,
one thing I did read, I just kind of was like, how do other people feel about combos? I just wanted to kind of get a vibe of it. One of the things that people get kind of more salty with is if your commander is part of that combo. Because then it's always, that piece is always there.
Sure.
So then that's where the 2 maybe gets in more, is because then you really just need those other 2 pieces, because your commander is just, boom, you just bring it out of the command zone. That was the only other thing that I had read about it, was that, but...
I didn't do any research.
That's frustrating. I will say that is frustrating. Like Brago, he's an... You know, you just got to get a couple pieces out, and boom, you got infinite combo right there with your Blink shenanigans. Or Brea, she's a great example. Or Urza is a great example. But these are also cards that I'm talking about that are played in the very, very tuned or CEDH circles. So once again, if your play group isn't in that, I don't think you need to get upset at someone for running the Bond enchantment combo in their Aloro deck, because... I mean, they're an Esper. It's not like they're ramping out super quick, and you'll see it coming from a mile away, so you should be able to interact. And that's where I really try to promote people to play Krosan Grip more, Sudden Spoiling more, because you could stop a lot of infinite combos with Split Second.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree with Krosan Grip, because Aetherflux Reservoirs played a shit ton, and you need that against Reservoir pretty much. So highly suggest that card.
Well, just more removal, more, and that's more, it's something that I've been working on, like I just said, more spot removal instead of, I typically do the mass removal, but I've been playing a little bit more, because of Lowry. You're wearing off on me, Lowry, but a little more spot removal, because that does save, if everybody's playing a little bit more.
It only took 36 years to influence you.
This one thing, Larry, I'll give you this one thing.
I appreciate that. I'll chew on my bone.
All right. So I think, unless you guys have anything else, that probably wraps up that.
I'm good.
That was a good conversation. I like it. He likes it. All right. Let me get to, what am I doing here? Which one? Long or short? Long or short?
Short. We're super long already. Not super long. It's.
I was about to say, I feel like this is like one of the shorter episodes. Usually you guys are like, what, hour and a half, 2 hours?
We've gotten pretty good at keeping it shorter.
We try to get it. We've been trying.
It didn't help last week was an hour 40. I'm sure.
Why did that one go so long?
Because you talk a lot.
Was that last week with all the interruptions?
Yeah,
Yes, it was last week with all the interruptions. I had 2 cats that came. Your favorite cats came in.
Seriously, they don't respect anything.
And
They're
then-
just like, fuck you. This is my podcast.
Hey, if this helps you, this is gonna help your case here, though. So today, because they're new little, they're Christmas kittens, so they don't really know the litter box. They know the litter box. They just have been jumping in our plants lately, and today one took a shit in our plants. It was pretty awesome. I came in the kitchen. Well, actually, my son had the cat in his arms. He's like, oh, he was in the plants because his paw was all black from the dirt. And I was like, that fucker. And I got up and I walked. I didn't swear in front of my son, but in my head, I walk over and I'm like, oh, it smells like shit. And then there's dirt and then just piles of poop all along the planter, in the plant. It was just amazing.
The thing is, Combo, is that cats are like kids. You complain about them a lot, but for some reason you love them. So,
oh, they're cute.
yeah, right? Like,
Dog guy
sure.
through and through.
Well, we have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So this is the first time having
I'm a
2 cats.
one
in the
doggo family. Do you got a dog?
Doggo.
Combo?
Yeah. It's his name's Newt Scamander. Named him after obviously Harry Potter character.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and he's ridiculous, man. Ever since me and my fiance got together a couple years ago, because he's a bigger dog, and she's obsessed with putting him in like clothes. And I was like, he's gonna hate it. That's so stupid.
You're one of those people.
Oh no!
I'm just
Let me
kidding.
tell you, he is obsessed now. If you're like, "Hey Newt, you want to put on your sweater?" His like ears perk up. He starts wagging his tail. You put the sweater on him. He starts like prancing around the house. Whenever we buy him like new sweaters or shirts, he gets like uber excited for it. It's absolutely ridiculous.
That is
So
amazing.
let me guess. Every season, like every like holiday, he gets dressed up. So you have St. Patrick's Day suit, Christmas suit, Halloween.
He does share in the matching Christmas PJs that we do as a family. We always
Nice.
get him that.
Very
and
nice.
then really, I'd probably say spring and summer, he doesn't wear too much. We do have a raincoat for him,
hot.
which is ridiculous. But the winter, he has lots of sweaters and lots of plaid flannel T-shirts. And yeah, he's such a
Have you
spoiled, ridiculous dog.
Have you seen the costume of Baby Yoda on dogs?
Oh, yeah. It's so
Yeah.
funny.
So, or whatever Yoda, but yeah, the ears, and then it's just the front as the legs, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh, that looks good. That
Yeah,
looks good.
What about boots? What about boots? Does he wear
So,
boots? He,
funny
she
thing
wear
about that.
boots?
So, I actually proposed to my fiance. We actually went out to Breckenridge, and we did like this 7 or 8 mile hike up a mountain. I did it at the top of the mountain at this like pond or lake thing up there, and had a bunch of friends come with us. And I was worried about like his feet, just because he's not like he plays outside. We could probably do a better job of taking him to the dog park. But I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get him some booties. I don't know if he's gonna do them or not, or actually let me put them on him. So I put him on, and it was just so funny. He did the weird walk for about 2 seconds, and after that, he was just absolutely normal and loved his boots, just like his damn sweaters. And it was funny because the whole way up the mountain and down, he got more compliments on his boots than my fiance did on her engagement ring. So
No.
That's awesome.
Was she walking around with her hand out though? Like,
oh yeah, she was trying to tell everyone that
Yeah.
she could that she was engaged.
Stop looking at my dog's boots.
Oh,
Look
congrats
at my
on getting
finger.
engaged. But those boots
Those
are
boots,
amazing.
though. Well, and it's so funny because, for the first few months that we were engaged, it was just everyone, look at my ring, I'm engaged. Blah, blah. She was just basking in it. Fast forward to 2021, and the last week she's forgotten to wear her engagement ring to work like 5 times. And I'm like, oh, I guess we're single now, huh?
The shine is off.
All right, let's get to this one spec stuff. So we got one spec. We are doing Ravnica Allegiance. Lowry and I kind of texted about this a little bit. This was a tough set
It was
to
very
find.
tough.
Yeah.
It was like, this is the first set where he came, and I think we got spoiled from last week. We had War of the Spark, which just had
Gas.
endless amounts
Yeah.
of specs you could pick up there. So this one had to dig a little deeper with it.
I think to
guess
start
I'll
out,
go-
just say just if you want to spec on Ravnica Allegiance, probably just spec on War of the Spark. Like, probably just go over to that next set. That's all I would say.
I guess you could jump on the Shocklands, but I mean, how much more are they going to go
Yeah.
up? You know, at the one point they were 20 before they got this reprint. There are currently $8-9 right now. So those are probably a solid. If you don't have Shocklands, you need to get Shocklands. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't
the easy
necessarily spec on it. Like, it's
spec
a
on 'em, but
reprint threat.
right.
Consistently.
Every 4 or 5 years,
Yep.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
hit those
Yeah.
again.
So
So I guess I'll start off really quick with one that I actually liked when the set came out, because speaking of what we were talking about with Craterhoof Behemoth, but it's N-Ray's Forerunners. This was a poor man's Craterhoof Behemoth, but it has a unique effect with it because it allows your creatures to have the vigilance, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's a game winner, but it comes in play. It's 3 green, 5 for a boar, 7/7 vigilance, trample, haste. When it enters the battlefield, other creatures you control gain 2/2 trample and vigilance. So the nice thing is like with Craterhoof, when it all out attacks, you all out attack with your creatures. If somebody has some trickery and they don't die, you're all open for everybody to come at you and kill you. At least with N-Rays, if you have enough creatures and they're getting the bump, they have the vigilance, so you still have blockers with it. Surprising, this card is in 9,500 EDH rec decks. That actually surprised me because I thought it would be below 5,000. It's actually quite a bit more than I
that's a bit more
anticipated.
than I thought too.
And while doing, and I had picked this before I actually did the numbers with it, but the inventory is super low. Like they don't have, it's a total of near mint copies on TCG, 13 from the
For foil,
normal pack
right?
foils.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
foils, yes, for foils. Do not buy the non-foils because that doesn't make any sense. But the foils right now are between 250 and 3. But like I said, the normal pack foils are at 13. There's only 13 listings of near mint copies and 18 pre-release copies. So you have a total of 31 that is even
Listings.
out on TCG. So this actually might go up sooner than I was thinking, because I was thinking this is more a couple years down the road type of spec. I mean, that's how a lot of these are with Ravnica Allegiance. But yeah, it seems solid. I picked them up a while back, so it's going. I was almost going to pick them up again, and then I realized, I already have 20 of these, so I don't need to pick up any more of them. But I will say that when I picked them up before, it was $150, and now they're double from when I picked them up. So hey, I doubled up my money already. Woo! But yeah, I could see this hitting 5-10 possibly if it doesn't catch a reprint. And really, I don't know where you see a reprint besides Commander set, so that's why
And it wouldn't
foil,
be foil, yeah.
again. Yeah, foil is probably where you want to stick with this one.
No, I mean, that's a good one because, people are always looking for more budget crater hoofs. It's sad to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one that I think I've put in one deck, but I don't know what it is because I actually don't even run Craterhoof in every deck. Like I run the playtest card Adam that you sent me, and then I have one legit copy, and that's it. But I don't put End-Rays in other decks where I probably should. So yeah, that probably is one that I would imagine the foils are probably going to get up to. I don't know if 10, maybe 5.
Yeah,
I can see 5. Yeah.
5 might be sooner rather than later. That's just because of the lack of inventory in there. That's the part where I was like, "Whoa!" I didn't expect the decks it was in, and the lack of inventory on TCG. So I don't know. Well, yeah, 5 for sure. 10, I could. If it doesn't get reprinted, this could easily in a few years be over 10.
And I think that's the best way to put it. Like, it's the poor man's Craterhoof. Like, because I've also, like, we really liked the card when it came out, and I picked up a bunch. I probably have like 12 non-foil copies because I just was able to pick them up for whatever.
Sure.
And I just haven't fitted into any decks right now. And so,
well, the thing is too, though, Larry, is that fits in your play style. You know, you don't like to play the Craterhoofs as much, just like Combo was saying with that. If you don't play Craterhoof, then you're probably not going to play this card, because This is more, I would think, for the people that like playing the Creator Hoofs and want more consistency,
Yep.
and that's why you get the.
I would agree with that.
What's the other one that has you go search? That's really fucking expensive now. That you tap 10, and you can go search for a creature, which you go
Finale
search
of
for Creator Hoof, or
Devastation.
if it's that card's going ridiculous because people like Creator Hoof effects,
Yep.
and if you have more consistency in your deck. Is the only reason why I'm thinking
Yeah.
that this is in so many more decks than I was anticipating, because people like big, bad,
Big
creatures.
dumb creatures.
Yeah. So, but yeah. All right. So, Lau, what is your pick?
I'm gonna go with Simic Ascendancy. This is colorless green blue enchantment, and essentially the reason why I'm picking it is because it's a you win the card game or you win the game card.
Mm-hmm.
And
What, a combo? What
it's
the
not
hell?
even. I'm not even sure it's a combo. It's like a Helix Pinnacle. Like it's out. It needs because whenever you put a 1/1 counter on a creature, you get to put 1 or 2 onto this enchantment, and you need 20 on there, and then you win the game.
Yep.
But you can
Yeah.
also pay green blue colorless to put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. So it kind of like feeds into itself a little bit. The pre-release foil is at $250. Launch party foil is $190. I think both are fine pickups. And again, with it being like an you win the card game,
Yeah.
I think that's what ends up like you're getting a lot of +1/+1 counter synergies. Definitely a green blue card, so it's not like off color or anything. And so I just
And it's nice that it's every 1/1 counter. It's not just if one or
Yep.
more goes on there.
Yeah,
Put a 1/1
that would
counter
make it
on this. It's
unplayable.
for every 1/1 counter. Well, if you tweaked it to saying 10, but still, I think this is better to go
Yeah.
it this way and have it 20.
so
Well,
I
Yeah,
just
like it.
go ahead.
I could easily see it going up in price because this is what we have a good friend, Ultra Budget Brews, over at EDH Rec. He would call this casual catnip. Any type of card that says you win the game is casual
Yeah.
catnip for Commander players because we're always looking
Oh,
for,
for sure.
one of those because we just think it's like the most fun, exciting thing because you kind of see it build up and build up and build up and you're like, oh, is it going to happen? And then someone throws some grips it and you cry.
Yep. Fully agree with that.
Plus, it's a win con. I mean, it's a built-in win con in your deck where if everything is going to shit and you can't kill somebody, this is a way that you can win the
Yeah.
game. Somebody has infinite life, you can just win the game by having this card in the deck.
Yeah. And
I have done that before with decks where I have a card that says I win the game, just so I had that option there. Yeah, I like
there's
this.
like Darksteel Reactor. That's kind of
Yep.
what I was thinking for it. And like that just builds up every upkeep, and if you have 10 counters on it, you win the game and it's
Yep.
indestructible. And I'm just like, that takes forever. But that's like a $6 card right now, non-foil. And I'm just like, at least comparable. So this is at least probably a triple up, gets into the $6 range. Foils always do whatever. I can't predict that shit. And so
you just say it, and then it doesn't
then-
matter, and then it goes into
well,
it's only the people that are listening to this way in the past, and they're like, you were way wrong with
wrong.
that. We've had that recently where people are like, I'm listening to your old stuff, and you were off. I'm like, shut up.
so that's my thinking behind it. So I would probably pick up a few if you don't have them, is what I would say. 3 to 5, probably.
And you got a different art for the launch party one, don't you?
Yeah. The problem is I don't know how widely spread that launch party one is, and so sometimes that can hurt the ability to go up.
And for some reason, the pre-release one is all over the place. That sucker will be at 2, and then it jumps up to 7, and currently it's at 7.
Oh, really?
There's a lack of inventory of
Okay,
that one
that's-
as well. It's going all over the place there. So that means there's movement. It's selling. There just probably isn't that much. So maybe if you can get the pre-release ones, that might be one to shoot for if you can get it for 2. But right now,
pre-releases,
currently,
as we've talked,
Recently,
that seems to be the
wasn't that
thing to
way
be looking
before.
for. There's a
Yeah.
clear difference between pre-release foils, normal foils, and launch parties. So
And Pringles.
Well,
and
yeah. Oh,
Jesus,
man.
Commander Legends.
I can't believe
Holy
how bad
fuck.
Commander Legends is. I get them. I got my mail day stuff today, and it was all of them were just curved, like in the
Holy
envelope curved.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I went to
bad. But you know what is nice is the etched foils are
Yes, I
fantastic.
do.
gorgeous.
Those suckers stay flat. They do not curve at
I
all.
went to a store and bought single foils, and I have them in a sleeve under boxes going, what the hell? They were there for the last week, pulled them out. They just like flung out of the sleeve, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix these. So
Yeah, that's why Commander Legends might be more full art and not the foils.
Yeah, I would-
That just might be the thing to go for there.
just
All right, Combo, what is your one spec?
Yeah, so I don't know how much everyone should put into my spec because the last and only card I've ever spec'd was Bolas' Citadel. Bought a bunch of the special release ones, and that card did not go up like I thought it would. But we're on for
getting there.
round 2.
No, it's going. You have you once did you get rid of it?
No, I still have 4, 5, something like that.
I believe because of Command Zone, that sucker went up. Well, it depends. Are you talking about foils or non?
I'm talking about that special launch party in-store promo.
Okay. Yeah, no. I mean, that jumped up to 15
What?
at one
Really?
point.
it's not
Yeah.
15 now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not now, but because Command Zone featured
Yeah.
it jumped up to 15 and
I swear, those guys
I
basically
still-
just fix the market.
you're going to get there with that
know how
one.
they do it.
Yeah, no. The key with the part of specking is to watch their videos right when they come out because you're going to see freaking things go up
Spike.
because of that.
You should be proud about Altar the Brood. You've risen up the promo price of it. It's like $15 now.
I'm telling you, baby.
The
Ultra
Ugin
Brood
promo.
should go in every deck.
I'm surprised you didn't choose that for this segment, even though it's not the
Yeah,
same.
just pick
do
it.
it.
and
Right
not
set.
even pick.
So I'm
what, are you,
gonna
what are
talk-
you going with?
So I'm talking about Rampage of the Clans. So this is 3
Okay.
colorless green instant. It's a rare. Destroy all artifacts and enchantments. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller creates a 3/3 green centaur creature token. So the reason I picked it is right now foils on TCG Player. If we look at Near Mint, there's only 66 listings of it, and the
not too
pricing
bad.
actually is extremely all over the place. Low end, you can get it for 20 cents, but if you scroll down enough on the listings, it goes up to $1, $1.50. So I don't even know if the market knows exactly where the card's supposed to be priced. I would say the average is between 50 and 80 cents. And here's kind of the reason why I think this is one that will go up over time. It's only right now played in 1% of EDH Rec green decks, which tells me that it's just people don't really know about it yet. And if you look at instant speed artifact enchantment wipes, there's really not that many in green. The only other option is actually a card called Fracturing Gus. And that guy is 2 colorless. Silencia, destroy all artifacts, enchantments, gain 2 life for each permanent this way, but its foil copy is $6.50. So this is adding in white, so you can't even run it in a Golgari deck, for example. B, it's more pip intense versus just a single green, and it even costs 1 more mana. So I think this is one that will go up because I don't know about your guys' play group, but I am seeing more and more enchantments come out in people's decks. I think WotC's doing a good job of printing interesting and good enchantments, and of course there's the OGs like Omniscience. And so I think ways to deal with everyone's enchantments or artifacts is something that's going to have to almost kind of become a meta thing. How 5 years ago it was more stompy decks, so you needed fogs to kind of prevent that. Stompy doesn't exist too much anymore. Now it's more intricate, maybe life loss, dealing with counters, going tall. And I see enchantments kind of on the rise, and you're going to need ways to instant speed get rid of it. And who cares if you gave them a 3/3 green centaur? Because you're probably doing this because you're about to lose the game, or they're about to get a very powerful board state.
The instant part I really like about this card. You're asking about our meta. Lowry is the enchantment removal. He will. We play enchantments, and Lowry removes them.
Good for him.
He's kind of that way.
My philosophy is I try and choose cards that can hit everything. So I'm a big fan of Chaos Warp, Vindicate,
sure.
Anguished Unmaking, and so this card I kind of agreed with you on it, like when it came out maybe a year ago, and again, this is a card that I just haven't used or liked. And because when I'm like, oh, how about, I was like, I could totally use this. It's really nice if I'm not running a ton of enchantments and artifacts, like I'm really loose on it. Then I'm like, oh, I'm giving everybody a bunch of 3/3s, and they're going to be able to overrun me at that point. Because it's not just the one. It's
who killed my shit?
Oh, it was Lowry.
did.
Get you. If it's even, like everybody gets 2 to 4 centaurs, whatever, like you have to have a decent board presence again, or else again, and this might just be me because that's what happens. Yeah. All right. And so like, I do like the analysis of like, you use it when you're about to die. So like if an aura or equipment deck is going off on you and you're just like, okay, get rid of all the equipment on Volshock, just, I don't even know if that was the right name, whatever. And so like that can make sense. I do like, again, another thing is like, I was like, oh, you can't like double the amount of centaurs that you get, cause that's destroyed, Parallel Lives gets destroyed.
Yep.
The Angel Maker token gets destroyed, and it's like, there isn't a lot of synergy that you can like play into it. And so I was just like, so you're just kind of ending up with like three centaurs. And generally when I'm playing artifacts or enchantments, I need them.
Yeah.
Right. So that was probably the biggest thing for me, was just like, it's a feel bad, like getting rid of my ramp, but it's in green, so maybe it doesn't matter. So it's a really hard card. Maybe that's part of it too.
Yeah.
It's a hard card to analyze currently.
Sure.
And again, 20 to 50 cents is relatively nothing. Like the buy-in's
For a foil
nothing.
is pretty easy.
So I think that's
the
something that I'm comfortable with.
I think the thing that makes this card actually playable is the instant part of it, because being able to deal with somebody that's about to go off and get the game-winning threat, you can do that, or you can just wait until it's about to be your turn and do the whole destroy everybody's stuff. That way no one's able to attack. You're able to rebuild, or not rebuild, but put your stuff up or whatever. But I get what you're saying too, Larry. It kind of sucks that it doesn't say destroy all artifacts and enchantments that your opponents control.
But then I think that would be way too good at that point. It would probably be a 6-mana, 7-mana card.
Then it wouldn't be a 50-cent.
Green can't get a Cyclonic Rift for artifacts and enchantments. That also gives centaurs.
I think though, Lowry, to kind of ease your conscience on, am I going to get overrun? Am I giving everyone 3 to 5 centaurs that are going to hit me? If you're not, you're either using it to save your bacon, which that's like top end. Sure, you might get the repercussions back, but you're about to die anyway, so why does that really matter? But I think the floor for it, this is a great politics card, because it's like, hey guys, maybe it's not even a game winner. Oh, Bolas's Citadel, that's real bad. Hey guys, I have a way to deal with it. It's just, we're going to lose our artifacts and enchantments. Are you guys okay with that? And a lot of times people will be like, oh, please, get that Aetherflux Reservoir out of here. Get the Bolas' Citadel out. I won't even swing at you, Lowry, for 3 turns with the Centaurs. I'm
really nice
to
of
make
you.
that deal. So, that could be a kind of negotiating tool that maybe you're not even using it to quote-unquote save your bacon. You're just kind of using it to buy in favor with the other players. And in their minds, they're like, oh, Lowry's helping us out because he's getting rid of this. Yeah, I'm getting set back, but that's okay. But honestly, for you, you're actually advancing the game state way ahead in your favor, because now, like you said, all of your opponents are going to lose all their ramp. They're going to lose all of their enchantments too. Ghostly prisons, propagandas, just stuff is just going to die. That's just what's going to happen. And if you don't have a bunch of stuff that's going to be fodder on your board, it might actually work out.
Yeah. And as you were kind of talking about that too, I was thinking like maybe it's just again my play style that it doesn't work with. And going back to what Adam was saying with Forerunners was maybe this is a solid card. Just go like end of turn, clans, or rampaging of the clans, and then you get a bunch of centaurs, and then Forerunners or Craterhoof Behemoth, and just create a ton of creatures out of that too. So that could be an interesting take on it, just being able to like get an army in a can too. Like if a bunch of people are attacking you or a bunch of creatures are attacking you, you're able to create a bunch of blockers that way as well.
Sure.
Potentially if you have enough.
I would also say what one thing that Combo mentioned there is we don't do the politics as much. We have been doing it more. And so our group just doesn't do that as much. But this is an excellent, excellent card for doing the politics part, because you could be like, hey guys, I can, like you mentioned, save the table, but you're going to lose shit. Just promise you're not going to attack me with those for a couple turns. And I think that's probably part of it, Larry, is that we don't typically do the politics. It's like
politics
it's
is
just
bad. Haven't you watched the news? Nobody knows how to do politics.
Larry, we're not getting into politics. Do I have to cut this,
No,
Larry?
it's fine.
Do I
We're
have to
done.
cut all this?
We're good.
No, I think it's a solid card. I think definitely you're staying away from the non-foils because I can see this being reprinted easily in
Did
a
it
Commander
get a
set.
promo
You know,
pack reprint? The one with the
I got a pre-release and then a regular foil.
Yeah, pre-release for sure if you're doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yep. Focus on that because pre-release seems to be the thing. Did you check and see what I almost want to look at it. What the pre-release numbers were on that at all?
I actually did have it pulled up.
I can look at it really quick.
Here's the interesting thing about pre-release, and you guys are more on the spec side than me, but I've actually seen that Magic players, I mean, I don't mind pre-release, but a lot of people actually try to stay away from pre-release, like the purists. You know, if they do a foil, they don't want the stamp on there. So I would almost think that the foil would go, if it did go up in price, it would go up beyond the pre-release, because sometimes people have that negative connotation with it.
So I would agree with you a few years
I'd
ago.
say a year ago. Yeah, 6 months to a year ago.
But the trend has been going the other way recently, and we had been talking about it. I think we just mentioned it a couple weeks ago on the cast about, and we mentioned it too with foils and stuff. The fact that it has that stamp is also another like way to people to not make fake ones. You know, like that's partially why I like foils as well, is you don't see as many fake foils out there as and then this card I would. If somebody's making fake cards of these really cheap ones and they're wasting their money, but the stamp, it just seems like that's another precaution to it. It adds another thing to it. And so it used to be that the pre-release stuff was much cheaper than the regular foils, but I've been seeing the numbers switch on that, where now you're seeing these pre-releases, and that also might be because there isn't as many out there. I don't know if that's because there's not as many given out at the LGSs or what the deal is, but those tend to go first for spiking more than the packages.
There's 102 near mint foils on TCG Player.
So there's quite a big stock,
and they're around 50 cents, which is about the same price as the other one.
Yeah, so you could go either route with that one, and that also could be a preference thing. Like you said, some people do prefer not having that stamp on there, and that's just your thing. But what we've been seeing lately is I just think that the stamp is a nice thing to get, but there is a lot less inventory. 68 show up for just the pack.
I've been going through pretty much my whole collection. I'm about half done on pricing anything that's worth anything right now. And I would say in the general thought is pre-release promo foils are about 25% more than just a normal pack foil. And some of them are more than double. Like there's a mythic from Battle for Zendikar. It's this plant that's 2/2, gets a 1/1 counter landfall, and then if it's dealt damage, it removes a 1/1. That pre-release foil, I'm pretty sure, was going for $20.
Wow.
Yeah,
and you're talking CK is Card Kingdom.
No, this was off of.
I've noticed that. No. I'm just saying when you've been going through your set stuff, the pre-release stuff has been higher, and I
Yeah,
have been seeing
yep.
that too when
On
I've
the
been
buy
going.
list
We've been
stuff as
we've been
well.
doing a lot
Yeah.
of buy list stuff recently, and the pre-release stamp stuff. I did notice that as well.
Interesting.
Larry. It's a good point.
So like
it's
in that
higher
one,
there.
not all of them are that crazy because normally I think the normal foils are like $5. So normally it's like 5 for normal, 7 to 8-ish for the promo, the pre-release. Blah, blah, blah.
Pre-release.
So that's just what I've been noticing lately, and so it could just be a fad trend, whatever. But that's just something that I'm noticing, and I do think part of it is just not being able to be as easily copied and sold.
Gotcha.
Whatever that counterfeit. There we go. So
Sweet. Well, Combo, you need. Thank you for joining the
Yeah,
show.
thank
by
you
the
so
way.
much.
But we need your tags again. Where can people find you? Where are they? You guys do 2 casts a week, don't you? You guys do 2 different kinds of casts.
Yeah,
each week.
yeah. So you can go to our website, cmdtower.com. We usually have most of our content on there. You can also search us on Twitter, YouTube, just CMD Tower, and we'll come up. If you want to follow me personally on Twitter, that's just at Mr. Comma number 5, all spelled out except for the 5. And yeah, content-wise, on Tuesdays, we usually do MTG Action 4 News. We have 3 segments within it. The first one, it's 40 Life in a Dash. We talk about recent EDH games or, just Magic games in general that we've played. What's the Plane Chase? We usually pick a random topic to discuss. And then we have the Weatherlight Report, where Squee McGee actually tries to find a commander on EDH Rec that has less than, I think we set the number at like 400 decks. And then he tries to pick a few cards to
Nice.
actually make it interesting. And then on Fridays, we have Brews and Builds come out, which is, what Lowry's been on a couple times. We just basically correlate EDH deck building into how beer is brewed. Initially, we were on like a path to 32 to talk about one of every single color. Since we've done that, we're now on themes. So in January, we're doing like a CEDH month. I believe February is like the Commander is Everything month, like a Kalia the Vast type deck. And then, we have like Squeeze Pack Cracks that come out on YouTube. We have Dear Squee articles that get released. So, we try to put out about 3 to 5 different pieces of content a week. Just to try to keep stuff fresh.
Can you guys do stuff for us?
I just want something on Twitter once a day. That's tough.
Oh man, I'm terrible at Twitter. Ultra Budget Brews, like I said, he's a good friend, and we'll talk on Facebook, and then I'll like load up Twitter one day, and he does like his daily MTG card, and it's like, holy crap, man, you actually like put an effort on this every day.
No, I enjoy his stuff.
Put in, like 5 hours a week.
I enjoy his stuff. He has good takes.
Thanks again, buddy, for coming. We'll have you guys on, or have you and the rest of your crew maybe on at some point. We'll do. This worked out nice. Besides our beginning stuff, we kind of had a little hiccup at the very beginning, but we're all good now. I think our intro, besides us saying 152,
That's all right. Nobody even cares.
You guys remember how you said this is a pretty short cast? We are almost at the 2-hour mark, so
Yay! We did
not
good.
that short.
We did good.
All right, well, that should do it for this week. We will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See
See
ya.
ya.
He took your line.
Nice.
Bye.
Suck it.